after Jesus was run out of Nazareth, he went down to the Sea of Galilee, to the city called Capernaum. On the Sabbath, on the Saturday, he went into the synagogue, which is where religious people would go on the Sabbath. Jesus picks up the Torah, he reads it, and then he starts teaching. He's teaching in a way that's like different than everybody else. He spoke with authority, and people started nudging each other and like, this guy's good. During that synagogue service, there was a man there, a man who had been taken over by an evil power, a demon within. That man suddenly stood up in the middle of this church service, and he said to Jesus, "Go away! What, have you come here to destroy us? I know who you are, Jesus of Nazareth. I know who you are. You're the Holy One of God." Jesus wheeled around, turned to him and said, "Muzzle it and come out of him." At that, the man twisted and turned and fell on the ground, right there in the synagogue. And then the evil came out of the man, and the man was fine, and he stood up. Now that really got the people talking. They said, not only does he speak with authority, but he has power over the enemy, over the evil one. Jesus left the synagogue, went out from there to the home of his friend Simon Peter. So they get to Simon Peter's house. First thing they find out is that his mother-in-law is sick. They call Jesus and they say, "Mother-in-law is sick. Could you do something?" Jesus goes into where she is. He leans over her. He rebuked the fever. And she was better. She sat up. In fact, she's feeling so good, she gets up and she cooks them dinner. Now that night, as the sun was going down, word had gotten out about what had happened in the synagogue that morning. And people started taking everybody they knew who was sick into where Jesus was. On all of them, Jesus put his hands and he healed their illness. Plus, demons came out of other people shouting, "You're the Son of God." He rebuked them too. He told them to be quiet because they knew that he was the Messiah. Finally, they got to bed that night. Early the next morning, right about at daybreak, Jesus went out. He found a place where no one else was. But it wasn't long before the people found him. And they started bringing all the sick people to him again. And he says, no. That's not why I've come. I've come to tell the good story about the kingdom of God, but not just here. I've come to tell it everywhere. So from there he went on, speaking in synagogue after synagogue in the area. That's one small part of God's big story.